Fresh Outlook. This week, millions of people flock to healthcare.gov. That, of course, is the Obamacare main website. Now, the website directs people to online insurance marketplaces where they can sign up for health insurance based on the state they live in. On the first day, more than 1 million people visited the site.
More than 4.7 million people nationwide have already accessed the healthcare.gov website. While many have successfully browsed the various options, others have dealt with computer glitches. Besides waiting times, many who tried to log on encountered error messages and coding problems.
It's the way I take the pill.
91-year-old Helen Huey experienced a different situation. Suffering from a heart condition, she visits a doctor every month for blood transfusions. But this morning, she said the Obamacare program interrupted her appointment schedule.
They told me that I had to take it at this time because of the Obamacare program.
How do you feel about that?
Bitter.
Even if it's not perfect now, it's better than nothing.
Others say they don't want the government providing insurance for them.
I think you open the door to letting the devil in to really control your life.
So how affordable is the Affordable Care Act? Here's a breakdown. On average, the least expensive plan was reported in Minnesota for $192 per month, Tennessee $245 per month, and states with large rural populations are more expensive. For example, Wyoming comes in at $516 per month, and Florida at the national average of $328 per month.
It needs to be affordable.
Rates, of course, are the most important factor in drawing consumers, and we'll just have to see how the exchanges will work for every individual in the country.
We continue our discussions with Dee Dee Benke, Dr. Michael McCoy, and Jackie Guzda. Thank you, everybody, for sticking around and talking about this, even though we touched on this subject in the first segment there. All right, let's start off with the question that was asked in that story right there. Should the government control health care? Dee Dee?
No, they shouldn't.
I had a feeling you might say that.
Anything the government does, and especially when it's connected to business, is a fail. They should not be involved in business, and Obamacare is a huge job killer, which is why the Republicans are working hard to try to stop it or try to change it or to make it different than it is, because right now it is not good for America. It just isn't.
Now, Jackie, I'm suspecting that you're going to disagree with Dee Dee right now.
Look,
but
we're the only major Western power that doesn't have nationalized health care. We need it. Health care is a basic human right, and people should not be denied it because they don't have enough money. Obamacare is a law now. It was passed by Congress. It was signed by the president. It was tested in the Supreme Court, and it is law. What the Republicans are afraid of is that this thing is going to be successful. The people are going to embrace it and love it. So give it a year, and if the people don't want it, the people can decide.
Okay, fair enough. Let's also talk about obvious. I think it's obvious to most people that our healthcare system needs some sort of change. That there's some loopholes there that needs to be fixed. Dr. McCoy, do you think that Obamacare is the answer?
I think that, going back to something Jackie said earlier, I think it can be a good part of the answer once we make the necessary reforms. I mean, no bill is perfect. I think President Obama himself has admitted that there are problems with it. Paul Krugman has even said the employer mandate, we need to reconsider that. But the individual mandate is important, and it's actually important for the strange irony that we're really compassionate. So if you have people come to an emergency room and they don't have insurance, we tend to just want to give them health care anyway, and then the burden gets put on those who are actually paying into the system. We almost need to force people to take care of themselves, or else we, by our own actual natural human compassion, are going to do it anyway, and it actually makes the system more expensive. So we do need to reconsider things like the employer mandate, how that's implemented, but I think the idea of basically making everyone have to pay for their own health so it's not put on others is something that is ultimately going to be a necessity.
And I do like the fact that there's a lot of preventative care in there as well. I think that's
which is very, very important. That's really going to keep costs down.
Well, and let's talk about the two sides, the Democrats and the Republicans, who are obviously fighting about this, and this led basically to the government shutdown. Do you think right now, Dee Dee, I'll pose this one to you, that the Republicans should be maybe talking more about the fact that there were so many glitches in the system?
Well, yeah, that, as well as the fact that, it gets to the businesses. Remember, Delta and Home Depot and UPS, remember, these people are taking their folks off of health care because of Obamacare because they can't afford it. It's a job killer. And it's also bad for small businesses. And people still are not happy with Obamacare. So the Republicans are listening to the people in their districts. Like, look, we don't want Obamacare. Thank you for standing up for us. So, you know, I understand the Democrats spin on this, but yeah, the glitch, you know, as you all were saying, oh, it's a big success because it went down. I don't think so. I think it shows that it's not ready for prime time. It's not ready to work, and that's why Obama, even himself, they keep changing things. So why not delay it?
I would like Jackie and Dr. McCoy to address the fact that there are quite a few big companies that have said, hey, we can't afford it. What happens then?
All right, let me give you an example. UPS. The Republicans aren't telling the whole story. They are saying that spouses of UPS workers will no longer be covered. But technically, it's the spouses of UPS workers that cannot get their own health insurance that will no longer be covered by UPS. So those people are covered by their employer. The UPS spouse is covered by their employer. The Republicans are making generalities about this and saying, oh, look, this university is not covering their employees. That
no,
place.
The university is saying, UPS is saying it. We're not saying it. They're the one. The businesses are announcing it.
No. UPS, the Republicans are using UPS as an example.
There are so many. That's one
But some
example.
companies have said that they can't afford it. Dr.
Well, I mean,
McCoy?
we'll just go ahead to the question you asked Dee Dee, which was what should the Republicans be doing? Should they be talking about this glitch? The Republicans should be putting forward a different plan. I mean, essentially, they're trying to beat something with nothing. They're pointing out they're making all these criticisms about Obamacare. It's not a surprise that a law is not perfect. Of course, a law is not perfect. No law is perfect. But the Republicans aren't putting anything forward, and they're not putting anything forward for the irony of the fact that this is a Republican idea. The individual mandate is a Republican idea. The Democrats decided to adopt it, and now the Republicans have no plan.
We have a national health care. It's called Medicare. And the same
Look, the
thing
poor people are going to be taken care of now. It's all in the middle class, and they can't afford
Dee Dee,
it.
let me put this at you. You don't like Obamacare. Fair enough. We can always point out the imperfections because nothing in the world is perfect. Republicans want to replace Obamacare with what?
Hey, I'd rather have it just the way it is. Leave it alone. Get out of my life, government.
And this is why Republicans are losing elections.
I don't want to
This
be
is
in a
why
country
you have
like
to
that.
shut down the government.
I don't want to be a Europe.
This is why you have to shut down the government.
Wait, one at a time, one at a time. There we go.
Sorry.
I'm going to be
I know, I was just saying, we're
If
now
you
on.
have health care, you can keep your health care. I'm doing that. You're doing that.
No. Okay, yeah, I have to go to a navigator on
Care Act is covering the people who are falling in the cracks, and there are still some. There's 8 million people who were not getting that extended Medicaid, which we can talk about later. But the rest of the people are people who have not been able to get affordable health care.
What's the ultimate burden on the economy?
Oh, it's terrible. It's a job killer. That is why these companies are taking full-time jobs, making them go to part-time. And that is a problem. And part-time jobs are just going away. So we all have to get 3 different jobs just to survive.
You know, I think the ultimate answer is, I mean, to be just genuinely honest, we really don't know. I mean, it's a new system, and like any new system, it's going to have to adapt, it's going to have to evolve, and we should be allowing that to happen instead of shutting down the government before it even starts. And again, I mean, Dee Dee, you said you worked in the White House. If you want to go back to the White House, the Republicans better put forward a plan for health care because Democrats are winning on a plan that may be imperfect. But
No. We're better off as is. We socialized medicine in these companies. Look, this is not us saying it. The companies, they are suffering. I mean, and they're having to take jobs away. It's a job killer.
Mitt Romney ran on a plan that said, we'll give you nothing.
Okay, well, I don't know why you're bringing up Mitt Romney.
Because that was the last
out.
election.
It has
I assume
nothing to do with
Republicans
this.
want to win elections.
I do
Unless they assume that they're going to keep winning fights by shutting down the government.
I do want to talk about the elections because we do have the elections, you know, obviously come the midterms. And what do you think that Obamacare and this continued fight with the government shutdown, we talked about in the first segment, but what do you think that's going to do? And I'll start with you, Dr. McCoy, and go to Jackie, and then go to Dee Dee.
I actually think this is going to galvanize the Democratic base better than it would have, been had the Republicans never shut the government down. Now it's partisanized the issue, and again, it's an issue where the Democrats have something to run on, and they can run and say it's not perfect. We're going to continue to work on it, but now look at all the people who have insurance, and the Republicans are basically going to run a campaign that said the past, which you've already rejected, is better than what promising, and Democrats are going to continue to be in the powerful position that they are today.
Jackie?
Sure. In 1 year, Obamacare is going to be the law of the land. It is the law already, but people are going to be very happy with it, and people are going to vote in another Democrat and perhaps take the House and the Senate, too, because of this bill.
No, I think we'll take back the Senate. thank goodness, because they don't have a firewall, so we can keep working on getting rid of Obamacare, because it's a mess and it's a job killer and it's bad for the economy. And the polls are still showing people don't want anything to do with this. I think it's just the tip of the iceberg. The more Obamacare moves along, the less people are going to be happy, and we're going to win back the Senate.
Well,
Thank
And why are
goodness.
you stopping it from happening? I actually
Hey,
think,
no, a lot of
I
Republicans
actually
agree
think
with you on
had
that.
not shut, or had Republicans not shut the government down,
Because it's such
they
bad
would have been
policy.
in a better position to take control
Well,
of the Senate.
let's just
than if
take
they
a
had
look
done
at
it.
this room right here. That we can't agree right now,
It
so
tells the
we can
tale.
imagine what's happening over on the Hill in D.C. So you guys all stick around. And just a reminder to all of you, because there is still a great deal of confusion about Obamacare, there is no need to join the rush. Now, enrollment for 2014 remains open until March 31st. If you want coverage to begin on January 1st, 2014, you can sign up anytime between now and December 15th. Stay with us. When we come back, we will talk about the shutdown and what this means for the job market.